Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the ADickDid podcast. Today, I'm going to talk more factual stuff. I'm going to go look up some statistics on drug abuse and alcohol addiction, stuff like that. Um, yeah, so let's just hop right into it. The addictiongroup.org has some very good information on drug addiction stats. 50% of people 12 and older have used illicit drugs at least once. That's just using them. Drug overdose deaths in the U.S. since 2000 are at 700,000. That is insane, considering that's just overdose deaths, not adding in people who were just fucking lit out of their mind and say fell off their porch and broke their fucking neck or got in a car accident and died. That's specifically overdose, which is fucking wild. The federal budget for drug control in 2020 was at $35 billion. I don't know why that's very important information when we're still having this many people die from drugs. Uh, every year, 16 million or 6% of Americans over 12 years old abuse prescription drugs. To me, that's pretty fucking insane. I know 6% sounds small, but at the end of the day, that 6% is just gonna get worse because they're gonna try to get their friends in on it. They're gonna talk to other kids in class about it. It's still fucking wild that we're having this epidemic of drug abuse in such young children at the age of 12 years old. 2 million or 12% of prescription drug abusers have a drug addiction, which, I mean, if you're a prescription drug abuser, I would just say you have a drug addiction. But I'm not gonna argue with that too much. For me, I have addictions to more. I don't know. I have like ADHD and addiction. So what happens with me is I get hyper fixated on something. I really find all the endorphins, the fucking dopamine, the serotonin that comes from something, and then I just absorb it and absorb it and absorb it until I can't really stop getting it. Um, I didn't really have that issue with prescription drugs, fortunately, but I definitely had that issue with alcohol, and I'm worried that I'm definitely getting maybe addicted to weed since I buy it so frequently and I almost don't go a day without smoking it, which is probably not good, even though there's plenty of people who smoke insane amounts daily and they're very successful. Uh, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I just think it might be not the best thing for my life right now. All right, let's just go over some quick drug statistics. As of 2020, 37,309 million Americans aged 12 years old uh, and older are currently illegal drug users used within the last 30 days is what that means. So within the last 30 days of their 2020 study, uh, 37,309 million Americans, which is an insane number to think about when we have 300 million total, so 37,000 million. I'm not going to do that math, but it's still a huge percentage. 25.4% of illegal drug users have a drug disorder. I don't know what that means. I think if you're an illegal drug user, you have a drug disorder, so I would call it 100%, but also I don't know what that means. So if anyone listening to this has more info on what that like can break that down for me, I would love to hear your feedback. 50% of teenagers have misused a drug at least once. I I think they're saying illegal drug users, meaning like mushrooms or heroin or something, and then by disorder, I think they mean uh, constantly using it, which I mean, I don't know. But misused a drug at least once would, to me, would break down to like, oh, they took their uh, oxycontin for their broken leg too many times in one sitting or whatever. Uh, which is probably more common than 50%. You kind of have to think these are percentages based on the information they could get out of people, and a lot of people hide stuff like this. So 50% is probably still a low number. Marijuana is the most abused substance among Americans. I want to agree with this so badly, but I feel like alcohol is probably abused more. It's in bars in every state across the entire United States. I think there's some towns that are still dry towns, meaning they don't allow alcohol in the area, but I don't, I mean, that's crazy to me. Marijuana is the most abused substance among Americans. I mean, maybe, yeah, I guess that's possible. It does say this was updated on November 6th of 2023, which would be yesterday as of this recording. That's actually kind of wild. Um, the timing of that. 13% of persons aged 20, yeah, 13% of persons aged 12 years and over used illicit drugs in the past month. Uh, Again, that's based on what they can get out of people, so 13% is probably a far low number. Let's go to alcohol facts and alcohol addiction stuff because that's more what I'm have issues with and should probably address. Um, Prevalence of alcohol use. According to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, which is a government website, according to the 2021 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, 16.6 million young adults aged 18 to 25, or 49.7% in this age group, reported that they drank alcohol in the past month. This includes 8.1 million males aged 18 to 25, which is 48.5% in that age group. 8.7 million females aged 18 to 25, which is 51.8% in that age group. That is fucking insane to me. But I also believe it because I had a lot of friends that drank. We all had plenty of crazy stories. Uh, I mean, there was there were nights where we would just go to our little asylum place and drink constantly. We'd make games out of it. We'd play beer pong. We'd play King's Cup. We'd play the cup game where you like mix all the drinks into one and the loser has to drink the whole cup. Like there were times where I was so like not blackout drunk, but I was so wavy that I'm surprised I'm still alive, and I'm surprised that these numbers keep seeming to go up every year. It would be really nice to see a little more information provided for people, and I know that we have lots of school stuff where they're like, oh, alcohol is bad and all that, but I think we really need to find better ways of almost marketing to children that these things are not good for them, and I think we really can change if we think about how we're providing and marketing this information to a different generation than ourselves, because if you think to the 90s, we were making commercials that basically advertised alcohol for children, and it's kind of insane to think about. Uh, I think it's crazy that we've gotten away with that as a society for so long. A drug and like a substance that is only causing people harm. You people can argue back and forth what good it has, but it doesn't have such a good that it should be so widely available. I'm not saying prohibition level cutoff. I'm not saying we don't allow alcohol. I just don't think it should be as mainstream, widely available as it is. I don't think you should be able to walk into a Walmart in some states and buy a bottle of Jack Daniels. I think that's kind of insane. I think it only allows kids to steal that stuff easier, or like people to just get away with whatever. Like, honestly, the more we loosen things up for people, the more it allows for them to break the rules. Like I said, with like the numbers that we get here, it's all based on the information they actually can get out of people, and not everyone's honest, not everyone is truthful, and I don't know. I'm not saying we should cut everything off alcohol wise. I'm not saying we should cut off everything off drug wise, because obviously we need some for medication. We need some for honestly, medication's the only thing I can think of right now. Anyways, let's just move on to story time. Fuck it. Story time with Jake. I I remember there was this one time me and my best friend really got into playing with fire, which is not something I recommend anyone doing, but we would play with fire quite frequently. We would either make little fire rings and do cool things in the fire rings. We made Molotovs once. Fun fact: don't make Molotovs out of thick glass bottles because they have to break. Uh, Coca-Cola classic bottles, the good ones made in Mexico, you don't want to try to fucking throw those at the ground because they don't break. It just bounce. Moving on. We also did fire Jenga once. Well, actually, I'm gonna tease you with that and then tell you another story. We decided one day we were gonna test if flares really could be lit and then work underwater. Uh, we went to our local redacted bleep whatever, and we bought red flares. Fun fact: not all flares are water resistant or proof. So we bought flares just to, I don't know, learn our lesson. We lit a flare. It was really cool. We dunked it in a bucket of water. It went out. Nothing special. Now, our next task was to get one and throw it into the river to see if it would work in the river. That was stupid. We shouldn't have done that. We definitely didn't do that. We allegedly threw a flare in a river. I don't know if that's illegal or not. And it did not. It didn't stay lit. Um, we played fire Jenga. We got a bunch of 2x4s, chopped them into little 2 foot long blocks, stacked them as if it was a Jenga tower, 3 feet high. We lit it on fire, top to bottom, lighter fluid soaking it, and we played Jenga with 2x4s that were on fire, with no gloves on, and we valiantly roasted our fingers for this game that we had 10 or so witnesses, audience members watching as we battled to see who the greatest fire Jenga player was. It was I. I won. Um, After playing 3 matches against my best friend, we I took the W. Uh, don't do that. It's not a good idea. Fire Jenga was a stupid idea, but it was a lot of fun. And sometimes as a kid, you just need to do stupid things and have fun, but it also teaches you what you shouldn't do later in life. Um, don't play with fire. I used to just light things on fire for fun. I used to just take things outside and destroy them for fun. You don't need to destroy things. You need to take care of your things. Take care of your things, treat them with respect and care, and and clean your tools after you're done using them because they'll last longer. I can't tell you the stupid little mistakes I made for the longest time, just to learn that I had wasted so much of my life breaking things that I could have used later, or not learning to fix things and take care of them when I should have. What's another story I can finish this episode off with, or maybe we'll go a little long if I think of another one. Shit, talking about all this fires got me wondering what some fire statistics are. Let's see how many houses get burned down in America. In America. In America? Yeah. So according to the internet, because we all believe the internet, there were estimated 486,500 structure fires reported in the to the United States fire departments in 2021. Of these, about 361,000 occurred in residential structures. So I'm really glad I'm not part of that statistic for being a fucking idiot and playing with fire so many times. There definitely were a couple of close calls. I had lit a paper towel on fire just to see how well a Zippo worked because it was my first Zippo ever, and threw that in the trash, and it caught a trash bag on fire, and I almost burned my apartment down once. That was not a good experience. Definitely, definitely am a lucky one to not be part of that statistic. How home fires occur a year? Uh, yeah, it looks like 50% of 358,500 yearly home fires. 50% of those are started in the kitchen. Mine definitely would not have been in the kitchen. 7% begin in the bedroom. That must be that must be smokers and pagans, smokers and Satanists for sure. 6% are chimney fires. I am so surprised that that number is not higher than begin in the bedroom. But I'm also surprised that it's only a 1% difference. 4% of all residential home fires start in the living room. How is home fires not... Are there... Maybe I just think of things too semantically, but chimney fires to me would be living room fires. So, like, wouldn't that just all chime into the same thing? I don't know. While 3% start in the laundry room. Wow. Laundry was hot. Um, yeah, so don't play with fire, folks, because it looks like you don't want to be one of 358,500 fires that occur in homes. I wouldn't want to be part of that statistic. I'm really glad I'm not. Be careful. Don't play with fire. Yeah. I'm surprised that there's not like a statistic here for people for like arson. Let's actually look that up. Just out of curiosity, due to arson. Uh, Statistics by FEMA.gov, usfa.fema.gov. Men are more likely to die and be injured in fires. 62% of deaths are male. That's wild. Where is... No, wildfires. U.S. Fire Department responses. Emergency... Where is... I want a statistic for arson. I'm not finding one. How arson? I mean, I guess all, well, maybe I'm not understanding what the word arson means. Maybe arson just means fire in general, and I'm an idiot. I thought arson attacks. Okay, arson attacks in 20. Man, I want one for this year. Okay, how? 2021 annual. This is crap. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We've got numbers, folks. Accidental fires looks like 7,788 accidental fires. Incendiary, what the fuck would incendiary mean? Incendiary or arson, okay, is 6,465. So that's the second highest. Arson is the second highest. I don't know how accidental works. Natural fires is the second lowest at 107. There's still ones under investigation. The mystery continues. 1,838 are unsolved. So actually, those could be incendiary, meaning arson, or they could just be, accidents. Threat. I don't know how that doesn't work as incendiary, but 71. That's interesting. We're threatening you with fire, and then they set fire. Is only 71. Huh. Okay. Uh, Undetermined. How? Okay. Here's my question. How is under investigation and undetermined two different things? And undetermined is 5,914. All right. Let's read a little bit further into this so I can figure this out. 800 were under investigation. There were 71 incidents entered as threat arson. 145 wildland. There were also 5,914 fires listed as undetermined, which included the final determination slash classification of the investigation, along with fires pending further investigation activities and or laboratory examination. So I guess under investigation means they're still investigating, and undetermined means they already investigated. Okay, that makes sense. I just had to read a little bit further into that. So there's 5,914 undetermined fires in a year, and those were investigated. That's wild. The third highest on the whole graph, and they couldn't figure it out. Wild. So yeah, maybe that's another lesson in not playing with fire, folks. And now it's time for me to do a short ad break where I plug my website, martellart.myshopify.com. Yes, that's martellart.myshopify.com. And that is where you can buy all sorts of paintings, dyed disc golf discs, resin art. I make a lot of custom stuff. You can hit up my Instagram at @themartellart, and I can make something for you for the holiday season or whatever you want. I make paperweights, skulls. I make paintings. I do all sorts of stuff. But supporting me there really helps support make this podcast, make other artistic and creative endeavors for me, because all I want to do is grow in my passion to create and make more for you. So if you support this podcast, it helps make me make more art, and if you support my art, it helps make more of these podcasts. Thank you for listening to that. And let's get back to the rest of the podcast. And to round out the end of this podcast, I'll tell a short story about how one Christmas, me and a friend of mine, we took my GoPro and we went to a couple of stores trying to find different things to wrap our GoPro in that would make it kind of anything proof, so to speak. And we settled on getting this yoga block that we cut into pieces and basically made like a Nerf shell, but for a GoPro. And we made really sick like Christmas light videos by taking it and rolling it like a bowling ball down the street, and we'd get sick spinning effects with the different colors, red, white, purple, all the other stuff, and they actually looked really good. I'll see if I can dig out any of the videos and maybe upload them somewhere on my YouTube. or Instagram. But we also took it and like would throw it through the air to get different effects, and it's just some cool creative stuff you can do with your friends to get good results. Just have fun and create something cool. We made uh we made an arrow adapter. So we made this Nerf case but with an arrow on it so we could fire the GoPro out of my bow, which is like it's a hunting strength quality bow. It can fire like 60 pounds or whatever, or it's like 60 draw weight or some shit like that. But we would like do that and shoot the GoPro up in the air and get really cool like sky shots and whatnot. So yeah, it's just another idea of like weird, cool contraptions you can come up with to have a good time and not to get addicted to drugs or alcohol or harm yourself in any way. Find cool, fun things to do with your friends. Build something. Make a podcast like this. Play video games. Honestly, I'm starting to make video game content again and upload it to YouTube because I'm just falling in love with Halo again. This season 5 is amazing. People are complaining left and right that they changed the ranked uh, start weapon to the Bandit rifle, but honestly, the Bandit Evo with the scope is a great gun. It reminds me of Reach, kind of, and I'm having a blast. And I would really like to have some more fun with you guys if you guys want to join in sometime. That too. Let me know in the comments if you think I should put out more Halo content and maybe do some stuff with fans and listeners. Other than that, I really enjoy you guys listening to this, and I hope that you'll come back next Wednesday to listen to my kind of rant or story. Nonetheless, this one wasn't so much about my addictions, but it had some fact stuff, and maybe it helps you come to some realizations in your life about maybe people or yourself that you know. Who knows? Thank you so much for listening. I hope you'll come back next week. Peace out.